Welcome to C4 News. This is non-politically correct news. You won't just get one side of the news here. I don't have any affiliation with any Democrat or Republican. I am an independent voter. No one owns my mind or point of view. My aim is to not bring you just the news, but information that will enlighten you, spark thought. In other words, I want to make you think. Think about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Where you came from, where you are, and especially where you're going as a people and civilization. Welcome to C4 News, and I'm C4, your host. It's been a minute. It's been a long minute since I've done a show. All I can say is I've had to deal with some life changes. Good life changes, but changes all the same. The topic today has been on my mind for a while. I did some research, listened to an audiobook on the subject to kind of clarify some things, and about a month ago I began to write. This is a very delicate subject, especially to anyone that is non-white or not from European ancestry. The topic is Stockholm Syndrome. What is Stockholm Syndrome, you might ask? Well, according to the Dictionary of Oxford Languages, it is a feeling of trust or affection felt in many cases of kidnapping or hostage victims toward their captor. Wikipedia says that Stockholm Syndrome is a proposed condition or theory that tries to explain why hostages sometimes develop a psychological bond with their captors. Cleveland Clinic says that Stockholm Syndrome is a coping mechanism to a captive to an abusive situation. People develop positive feelings toward their captors or abusers over time. Simply Psychology states that Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological phenomenon where captives develop positive feelings toward their captors. In layman's terms, it means that when you develop fond feelings toward those that have terrorized you, it's a strange bond between the terrorists and those that are subject to the terror. This syndrome was given its name due to a hostage situation that happened in Stockholm, Germany after a botched 1973 bank robbery and hostage situation in Stockholm, Sweden, where the hostages developed a psychological bond with their captors, even defending them after the rescue. During this 6-day siege, the captives began to trust and identify with the criminals, a phenomenon later termed Stockholm Syndrome by psychologists. So when you understand this sickness, you can directly relate it to American blacks, Mexican, and South American Indians. The black man and woman have been trying to figure themselves out of this hole for over 200 years, with little, if any, success. I'll break some stuff down to you. We are all familiar with the pimp and hoe scenario. Whereas the hoe cares more about the pimp and his needs and wants more than her own safety. She caters to him in an obscene show of love by selling her body or whatever he wants her to do in order to please him. She doesn't run nor leaves. She doesn't fight nor argue the arrangement. She rationalizes the situation. She develops a relationship of which she can't actually explain, but she is extremely committed to. Now take what I said and think about Christianity. The same people who brought the black man Christianity is the same people who chained you in the bottom of ships, treated you non-humanely, and if you survived the harsh conditions of the voyage, you were separated from your family and your name was changed. All of this is done by using some of the most horrific acts imaginable. Hangings, rapes, and burnings were commonplace. As a matter of fact, the heinous acts were celebrations and joyous occasions for the captors. Now, if your religion, Bible, or whatever you're pushing condones this behavior, then I, as the subject of this terror, have no business believing what you believe. Because what you believe allows you to treat another human inhumanely. This can't be the word of God. And why would I need someone who was not from the beginning of civilization to teach me civilization? If the ability to add and subtract, or to create language for communication came from my ancestors, how can you call me the savage? Even the alphabet comes from the dark-skinned man. This sounds simple, but these same people who were the founders of these things allowed a caveman to subdue them physically and, more importantly, psychologically. So much so that according to the 2021 Pew Research Center, 73% of Black American adults identify themselves as Christian, compared to only 2% who identify as Muslim. This means that your captors have terrorized you and brutalized you, conned you into accepting their religion, which gave them the right to mistreat you in the first place. Now, I know this doesn't make any sense. No, it absolutely does not. But as Future says, it's crazy, but it's true. This sounds insane. But insane is the condition of the Black people in America. We force our eyes closed to what is obvious, and we refuse to open them to what is obvious, but sometimes not so obvious. When you train an animal, you train him to obey you, or there's a negative result. The negative result is being ostracized for being outside the understood norm. But the norm has us here. Why not rebel against the norm? Why not challenge what you've been taught or told? The truth holds up under scrutiny. A lie does not. I know your captors have intimidated your mind against Islam, and this is done subtly by killing off your leadership, here and abroad, with Malcolm and Patrice Lumumba being a couple of those. And they replace these people with puppets, drugs, and unemployment. Is there a reason why the inner city of Chicago is a food desert? At least it had been this way for most of my life. Maybe a jewel grocery store here or there, but for the most part, it's food desert. They force you to eat food that is not healthy for you, made you pig eaters, for one reason, to secure their dominance inside your mind. If I can control what you believe, where you work, and what you eat, then I own you. This is a slavery mindset with a wild twist. And that wild twist is monetary. Because your neighborhoods have no infrastructure, there's no tax dollars. Your vision is narrow due to the lack of your race's success. Pay attention to every other race and their neighborhood. They have an infrastructure, all of them except for you. Hispanic neighborhoods are known for their cuisine. Asian neighborhoods are known for their cuisine. And the Italian, their foundation is and was cuisine. Our neighborhoods have McDonald's and maybe a soul food joint that most times prepares slave food, stuff that is no good for you. This slave food was survival food. It was not cuisine. We are not familiar with any of the food or dishes from our homeland. Our homeland is here. So if our homeland is here because of a lack of knowledge that was beaten out of us, why not give us an infrastructure? Why, if the entire industrial revolution was created and maintained on our backs, were we not compensated? Very simple. This country wants you at the foot and never at the head. You are being poisoned by everything around you. What you watch, what you listen to, what you eat, where you worship, where you work. All this, and you can't even get healthy food and water. Even the air quality in our neighborhoods is no good. We don't live on the fertile land. We live like sardines in our urban can. We need farms. We need land. Land is the one commodity on this earth that controls everything. Land never depreciates. It only increases in value. Not a home. A home in reality is just a cave. So if you don't own acreage, you don't own much. Once you have fertile land, you can sustain without the system. Prison is a legal plantation. Pay attention. Most times, if you're unfortunate enough to be enrolled into the prison system, where do they send you? Most prisons are in these little hick towns. Why? The state brings them an economy. You are the commodity. You are the cash cow that never receives your worth. We are about 12% of the overall population, but a huge number of the prison population, about 38%. Most blacks in prison, they sold drugs to make money or they harmed someone else trying to take their money. Most people we hurt in the end are ourselves. The crime in our neighborhood is ridiculous. But do you think this is a coincidence? This was planned. What happens when you take a race of people, take all of their confidence, you take all of their resources, you take their religion, and you stick them in a box, and you put a crumb of bread on the floor? After a while, they'll forget that they're brothers. They'll forget that they're kinsmen. All they'll hear is the echo from their empty stomachs, as 8-Ball and MJG would put it. They will slaughter one another for that crumb of bread. I want you to not just understand your own mentality, but I want you to understand the mentality of your captors. Understand that there is always a chain. Nothing ever happens out of nowhere. Each link in that chain serves a purpose. And don't be fooled by color, especially the color of your own. Everyone must be verified. We have never succeeded in any of our previous revolution attempts, not because of the white man, because of the sellouts of our own kind. How do you think that Malcolm, how do you think that Dr. King was assassinated? We have been prone to sell out our own sisters and brothers. This has been done since Africa. The white man didn't come take you. You were sold by people who look just like you. You were prisoners of war. So remember, everyone black is not your brother. Always remember that crumb of bread scenario. Trust can only be earned, not given. Christianity in itself is a sellout religion. Why? Because Jesus is one of you. Why do you pray to him instead of praying to the force responsible for his existence? Isn't that what he told you? Isn't that what he taught? You have fallen in love with your captors, no different than the people in Stockholm. As a matter of fact, our situation is worse. We have no foundation, we have no native tongue, and so if you trust a Christian, you're a fool. Why would I trust someone who has already sold themselves? Would they not sell you? I've had the most difficult time talking to Christians, especially Christian women. It's like they're in some sort of trance. Simple questions they can't and won't answer, like, how do you think Satan gets worshipers? Do you think that Satan does all bad things without helping her followers or those that she wants? If she did that, why would someone follow her? Think about it. Would Satan rather you pray to God or to Jesus? These questions are very easy, but Christians get angry and want a confrontation when asked these very simple questions. Your captors want to give you the perception of humanity when we are the most inhumane country in the world. How can people starve in a country that has everything? How can people not be educated in a country that has so many schools? This is a tale of two cities. Wake up! You are asleep. God the Creator designed your environment to be self-sustainable. God designed the solar system to protect you. Think about it. There is no other planet like ours in the solar system. We live in what's called the Goldilocks zone, just far enough from the sun not to burn up or to freeze. Why would you pray to anything but Allah, the creator of all things? Wake up! How can a person who claims to be Christian be against Islam? Was your teacher not Islamic? He submitted his will to Allah. So should you not do the same if you're one of his followers? Your misguided misunderstanding has led to the capture of your mind. They want you to fight the Arab man. They want you to fight the Mexican Indian. They want you to fight the South American Indian. They want you to fight the African. Why? Because if you're busy fighting with your brother, you can never concentrate on the enemy. I like women a lot. I would consider myself as being a connoisseur of women. Am I not supposed to be? What was Abraham? What was David? What was Solomon? These characters dominate the Bible. Earth women are the most beautiful in the universe. They are the only creatures that cannot be improved upon. They are perfection. Now, as people, they are not perfect, but their creation is pure perfection. Remember, even the angels had to retrieve some of them. I look at beautiful women all the time, whether it's on TV, whether it's porn, whether it's in person. As a man, I am drawn to them. They were created for man. This means that you crave what is form fitted for you. The problem is that the white dominated world that we live in has captured most of their minds to combat the resilience and the rebellion of the black man. So I found out real quick who is real, who is fake, especially if they proclaim to be Christian. As much as they may want to fight for black or minority rights, they can't. They serve the same master they claim to hate. When you say to a black woman, hey, it's time to go home, she will side with her white captors the majority of the time. That's a damn shame. Now we focus our show on the actual specifics of current day Christians and Stockholm Syndrome. Let's talk Atlanta. Now, the idea of Atlanta is a great idea. A black city ran by blacks. And so it seems. But let's look a little deeper. Yes, you may outnumber the whites in the metro area, but where are you located? How silly can you be? You are located in Georgia, not the North. You are absolutely surrounded by white supremacists. In every direction, there are plantations. You don't even govern yourselves. You are ruled by the governor. So, why would you do something so goofy? You have a black city that is surrounded by your enemy. What smart war tactician does this? If a race war broke out, you all would die within 5 days. This is pure stupidity. Once again, I'll say that the idea is great, but the execution was rooted in stupidity. You are Christian and unintelligent at the same time. You sold yourself twice. I know my words may be harsh, but someone has to explain this to you without holding any punches back. I'm not here to cuddle you. I'm not here to make you feel warm. I'm here to reach your intellect. Please think, or you will be extinct. For the life of me, I cannot understand the logic. You complain about Trump, but surround yourself with the majority of his followers. Who taught you this? Who thought this up? Now, I'll tackle another major issue with not only Atlanta, but the rest of Black Christian America. Women have suffered firsthand the brutality of their white oppressors. Atlanta is a black city ran by women. It is also the hub of black male homosexuality. So not only do you surround yourself with your enemy, but your one protector is gay. The one group that can help you fight is gay. This also means that you're reducing the black population as well. You would have to be the biggest idiot in the world to not know that Tyler Perry is a plant. Christians not only made a gay man a billionaire, but has allowed his homosexual acts and behavior to permeate your society. You claim to be Bible-toting believers, but even in your own book, there is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. What man lays with a man in a sexual way? This sounds obscene and non-productive. You're not young people who have made a mistake by being tricked. No, you have formulated an entire society for these alphabet people who have passed you in the nationwide fight for civil rights. You have gone backwards. When I tell women that I believe that a black man should be allowed to have more than one wife, they look at me strange. Do you know where you come from? Do you know any of your heritage and tradition? The concept was created within the first man. If most people derived from the black man, then how did they become so diverse? Mediterranean, both South and North American Indian, all of the east coast of Asia, and all other non-Caucasian people, their base comes from Africa. So what does this mean? This can only mean that Eve is not a person, but she is a gender. Women are the only ones that can diversify life in this way. Adam couldn't create all of these races with one woman. And disagreeing will only show your lack of intelligence. Black men were created to breed, to be fruitful and multiply. But black women have allowed a white man to not only dictate your religion, but your life, your diet, and your rules of reproduction. Instead of becoming a larger part of the population block, we have slowly declined our numbers and become more homosexual. This is counter to God's will. If the lion is said to be the king of the jungle, so is the black man more or less of a king than a lion. We are the rulers of this earth, and everything on it belongs to us as a birthright. And we allow a beast, who we are supposed to be superior than, be wiser than we are. We have lost our way. How do you think villages in Africa survive? How do you create a village with one man and one woman? It can't be done. Now, I just mentioned that the lion is supposed to be the king of the jungle, but this is incorrect. In all actuality, the gorilla is the king of the jungle. The gorilla controls the most fertile parts of Africa. It's the gorilla that has all the fruits, all the vegetables, all the grassland, and all the water, while the lion is left to burn in the hot sun. Understand that Christianity is a Trojan horse. All the worst parts of man is contained inside of Christianity. Obey your masters. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Turn the other cheek. This is not the word of God. If this was the case, why would the story of Moses exist? If this was the case, why does the story of Jesus kicking over the money changers, why does that story exist? If you were supposed to turn the other cheek, then where does the story of David come in? I hope you're getting these contradictions that are all throughout the Bible. The Bible is a made-up book of stories that have existed for millennia. The tales of Gilgamesh, the story of Isis, Osiris, Horus, and Seth. As a matter of fact, you say amen as a tribute to Amun-Ra. Didn't know that, did you? But you can feel God. Can you not see God? God is everywhere and everything at the same time. In science, this is called dark matter, when in actuality, this dark matter is actually transparent matter. And what is transparency? Transparency is zero. Once again, we have that number. Zero is the most important and significant number in the number system. There is no counting forward or backward without it. What is 1 without 0? What is -1 without 0? There is no beginning or ending without 0. God creates and reconstitutes everything. Remember, there is no energy that is ever wasted. It is only remade. When a planet or galaxy reaches the event horizon, it is remade into a new platform. God is a force, not a being. Thank you for watching this show. Please remember, my goal is not to anger anyone. My goal is to inform and inspire you. Why? I am my brother's keeper. This is C4 for C4 News. Have a great day.